As a seller, you did your part. You spent hours getting your packages ready. You drove to the post office. You did everything you're supposed to do. And now your customer is coming at you that they didn't receive their item. So what do? Well, eBay has come out with some guidelines and finally given us some assistance and some help. And this video is going to tell you exactly what that is. So without any further ado, let's go. So some of us have been receiving, or many of us have been receiving complaints from customers that their packages haven't arrived, and they haven't arrived in time. Now, when we say in time, it's based on eBay's estimated arrival, or their, I believe they offer a guarantee on a delivery. And us sellers, we really don't see that information. You can see it where you are doing your eBay label, and I'll put that photo of an example of that right here. So when you're running your eBay label, we just need to be mindful of the range of dates that customer is likely to receive the item or is supposed to receive the item based on what eBay is placing in the listing. And that should also help you determine what method you're going to use to ship the item if you're offering free shipping. If you've already charged the customer shipping, then you need to use the method that they've paid for. But that'll give you an idea of when that package is supposed to arrive. Now, based on that, your customer will be expecting that package to arrive on or before that date. And if they don't, many of your customers that you've experienced already have gone on to eBay and opened an item not received case with eBay. And in doing that, it now puts the onus on you, the seller, to provide some kind of update on the package. So what I normally do is I normally go in, I try to find the updated tracking information. You will, at the very minimum, have to go back in and input the tracking number again. That sort of buys you a little bit of time. But eBay now, with this new policy for the holidays that they came out with on the 8th, their policy is that they're going to give you 10 calendar days, not business days, but calendar days to actually have some type of tracking update on the package. If there's no tracking update on the package after that 10 days, then they are going to step in and ask you to refund the buyer. And then you're out of pocket for the entire transaction, and chances are that the customer will receive the item eventually, and you're going to be out the money. That's a big complaint that you guys have. I don't like it either, but eBay has to do something. They're the middleman here, and they have to have something in place to ensure that the buying experience is up to par. And I get it. If I was a buyer, I buy on Amazon and every once in a while eBay. And if I didn't receive my item at all, I would be asking somebody to step in. So as a seller, it sucks. And it happens more now in the holiday season than it does really any other time of year. And this is just one of those things where we have to be proactive with. I think the more proactive you are and the more you communicate with your customer during this process, as soon as they open the item not received, do what you have to do on the eBay side. Do your homework, find out where the package has been updated, when the last time it was updated, and send a message to your customer explaining that you're on top of this and that delays sometimes happen this time of year. And you're going to be working with them to resolve this issue, and to please notify you if they happen to receive the item, but you will also stay in contact with them. I think this goes a long way to keeping that customer sort of at bay and off your back, per se. And I myself have gone through that, and in dealing with customers, I had a situation earlier this year where the package just disappeared en route. I had to file a claim through, I believe it was UPS, and they received their item like 3 days later after I sent them a refund. Thankfully, this person was honest, and she sent me a payment through PayPal for the item, so all was good. That's another thing. There are still good people out there, And while that may be the exception, what I went through, it certainly is possible that you may end up with an honest buyer that would still be willing to work with you after such things happen. But eBay has come out and pretty much said they're going to give us that 10 days so that we can work with our buyer and try to figure out where our package is. Now, what I would say to do is to open a claim after 7 days with the carrier. Now, normally what that does is it opens a tracer on the package, and the carrier, it sort of lights a fire under them to find where this package is. And miraculously, the 2 times that I've bothered to do this, they found the package and it was delivered. So you got to be proactive on these things. You cannot let these messages from eBay time out. That's where a lot of people get in trouble, because when eBay has to step in when there's no seller response, that is a defect on your account, and usually they'll go ahead and just refund the buyer anyway. I get a lot of people that send messages to me and they state that, hey, this package was lost, and all of a sudden eBay gave the buyer the money back. But there are steps in between that. If you're not on top of it as a seller, that you're going to miss, and you can prevent a lot of this from happening if you just stay on top of it and contact your buyer. The other issue with this is, how does this affect your account? Because if you get too many delays or late packages on your account, that's late scans, late arrivals, it counts as lates against your metrics. So you want to stay on top of your metrics. You want to make sure you don't fall under 1% or over 1% in late shipment percentage. And here's what eBay is going to do currently. Now, I believe this is just for the holidays. After the beginning of the year, this is going to go back to what we're used to, that you're normally responsible to have that package scanned by your handling date. So like for me, I have same day handling. So if I sell an item today before noon, that item has to be scanned sometime today before 11:59 p.m. Or before midnight. Otherwise, eBay will count that as a late normally, right? That item doesn't arrive to the customer by the guaranteed delivery date. That also can be counted as a late as well. And so what eBay is doing for us right now temporarily is one of 3 things that they're going to do for us. And the first thing is, tracking shows a physical carrier scan at any time within your handling time. So again, if you have 3-day handling and you mail it out tomorrow, that's going to cover you. And so what a lot of people are doing with that is they're changing their handling time. Maybe instead of same day, they're changing it to next day. Some are even changing it to 3-day handling time. And that's fine. You may notice that it could affect your search in the algorithm, but you kind of have to weigh the pros and the cons and do what's best for your particular business. And myself, I've been lucky. I've only had a couple of these complaints, and so for me, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. And if it gets worse, I may consider going to 1-day handling. But right now, and we're only dealing with, I'd say a good week before it's really impossible to get any packages to these customers before Christmas, and that's even cutting it. It's probably only till about maybe Wednesday or Thursday, and that's for folks that are on my half of the world. Anybody on the East Coast may not get it before Christmas even then. But we as sellers have to do what we can and follow the guidelines that eBay has set for us. Otherwise, that's going to cause us some problems. The second thing that eBay is doing for us is buyer answers yes to item arrived on time when leaving feedback. So even if the item arrives late or you send it late, just a disaster with the item, and the customer gets it, they're happy with the item, they're leaving you positive feedback, and they happen to select yes instead of no when it comes to did the package arrive on time, then that transaction will not count against your late shipping percentage, and that's a good thing as well. And the last one that eBay is doing for us is if the tracking shows a delivery scan within the latest delivery date for the shipping services selected. So let's say, going back to that screenshot that I provided earlier in the video, if my range of dates is between the 16th of December and the 21st of December, and I just mailed this thing out a day late, for whatever reason, I didn't get it in the hands of the USPS carrier to scan until a day late, and that item arrives on the 21st and it's scanned on the 21st, then all is good. I'm not going to receive any kind of a defect for that transaction as a late shipment. Now apparently eBay is going to expand these dates to allow for more time on the delivery. So we'll see. But the big problem here is really not on anything you're doing or anything eBay's doing. USPS, even FedEx, they're affected by the whole COVID thing. They have less staffing because people are out of work because of COVID or positive tests, and it definitely, whenever they're dealing with a lack of manpower, and plus with at least the Postal Service, I know this because I have friends that actually work in the Postal Service who have also retired from the Postal Service. It is a union shop, and the reality with the Postal Service is, and someone that's worked in, myself, I've worked in a union shop, you get a lot of people with high seniority, and you know what? Not all of them. There's a lot of good postal workers with high seniority, don't get me wrong, but the mindset is they're protected by the union and they will work at the pace that they want to work at. They give only the effort they feel that they have to give. That's why you hear stories where people bring a bag of packages to the post office and they say things like, we'll only do 5, or we don't have time to scan your items today, something like that. And these are all things that shouldn't happen, but it's because of a union shop that allows these employees to get away with doing and saying things like this. And while you can complain to the management, there's only so much a manager or their manager can do because they're protected by the union. And yeah, you would still want to ask for a manager to help get that particular situation resolved, but just know it's not changing that employee's behavior. If you're complaining about that employee, I'm sure they've faced many complaints about that same person for probably the same reason, at least a time or two before you. So when you're dealing with that situation, you just don't want to get too upset about it. Just know you're going to deal with lazy employees. You're going to deal with people who don't want to scan your packages. But some of these things that I've talked to you about that eBay has laid out to us a few days ago as to what they're doing for us sellers is going to help at least alleviate the burden and the stress a little bit. You're still going to have items that never arrive or arrive beyond the 10-day period that eBay is giving you, and you're still going to have to give a refund on those packages, and work with your customer to make sure that in the event it does arrive, that they are going to work with you in giving you your money for the item. And some will just totally ghost you. They will vanish off the face of the earth, will never reply to another message after they receive the item, and you just have to write that off, unfortunately. Thankfully, it doesn't happen. For most of us, it doesn't happen to the point where it's going to cause a hardship on our business. But eBay is doing what they can, and I give them credit. While they really weren't proactive here, because they do know that we were dealing with this epidemic. They had a similar situation or a similar policy when the pandemic first started, that they would not ding our late metrics. It would have been nice for them to have maybe foreseen possibilities of this happening around Christmas. But you know what? Late is better than never.